What the research shows us is that there's a great variety of areas that communicators who work in public services are being asked to get involved in. If you don't have up-to-date skills and knowledge, you're not going to be able to do the core skills that PR and comms people need, plus those additional areas that people are being asked to get involved in.
The purpose of this project was to go out and listen. So we've listened and we've identified these areas where communicators are saying that they need support.
This project is really important in that it adds another layer to some of the things that we already know. So we've done quite a lot of work around some of the numbers, but this adds another dimension in terms of some of that really detailed information, finding out kind of what the challenges are for people at the moment.
You've got communicators that are influencing, having to influence, and that's through employees because they're becoming communicators for the organisation now, both through digital and also in more traditional forms of communication.
What we found in talking to heads of communications and other communication practitioners is people are having to not only deal with difficult times in terms of budgets, but also changing their skill set, changing the way they work, changing who they're dealing with, and changing how they're communicating. So it's a fascinating time.
Another theme that came up was commercial awareness. So as teams are stripped back, they need to start thinking about actually generating income.
We are, through communications and marketing, helping organisations professionalise, commercialise and change the way that they actually run all their services. So making sure that we are fully skilled is really essential.
Evaluation is key, but generally communicators are saying that this is a challenge. Many admit they're offering a reactive service and struggling to provide evaluation at a time when they're aware that they need it most.
This is a difficult time for the public sector, but also, I believe it's a real opportunity for public sector communicators to really prove their worth and show the value that they add to their organisations and to the sector as a whole.
Training up, changing the culture, improving the systems. The research project has shown that where it works well together, it works really well. Where people haven't invested in their people and their training, it's much more challenging.
More and more of our colleagues are finding themselves in the positions of stress. They're finding themselves under increasing pressure with real expectations from their organisation and real expectations from the public. And finding that there are fewer and fewer of them around. So it's really important that those staff are supported.
Times are tough in terms of budget cuts and so on, and it's just so good to have other people in similar work that you can go to.
Sometimes a little bit of mutual support, cooperation can go a long way, and that's really good for showing actually what you can achieve when you do work together and forming those networks sometimes across sectors as well as just in between local public services.
What the Local Public Services Group has done through this project is excellent because it really feeds into the work that we do through FirePRO, which is the Fire Communicators Network. That's about making sure we can be the absolute best in terms of delivering the fire and rescue service to the people of the UK.
We need to make sure that as budgets are getting tighter and tighter, that we still build in enough to make sure that our people are able to develop so they can keep up to date with kind of all the latest trends and activities and making sure that we're able to share best practice.
Training is the future of the sector. It's all about the next generation coming up. We've probably done our bit over the years with various types of training courses and professional development. The next generation coming up, it's going to be even more important to make sure that you're upskilled for the future.
So I've really seen the benefit of what that does for you, not only in developing your skills, but also in the networking opportunities, in the time away from the office sometimes to just have some headspace and just get new ways to look at things.
What we've seen come out of the local services group is a real trailblazing with this research in terms of an evidence-based approach to the learning and development that the group is going to be providing.
We'll be delivering locally by partnering with regional CIPR groups next year to deliver a refreshed training programme that hits these areas and really gets out there.
Let's try and get a real broad spectrum of research led training being delivered on the ground so that people who are working in very cash-strapped organisations who are under enormous scrutiny can actually turn round to their chief execs and the leaders of the council and the police commissioners and the leaders of the fire service and the health service and say, this year our team has delivered all of this for you, but also we've improved our skills and our knowledge, and here are our CPD records, and we'd like those to be considered in our annual appraisals back into the organisation. I can't think of a single chief executive or leader of a council or chief exec of an NHS organisation who isn't going to find that appealing, give them confidence that they've got a really committed and high-performing communications team, and it'll make them proud.